Hi everybody, Shannon Petrovich with Therapist Talks. Coping with OCD. This is about how to understand, separate, and overcome the obsessive thoughts and the compulsive behaviors that are making your life unmanageable. If you have this disorder, ideally you want to get help from a therapist and a psychiatrist. The problem can be primarily cognitive, anxiety or emotion-based, trauma-based, a chemical imbalance, or all of the above. In addition to professional help, though, you need to learn and practice new coping strategies. So this is what this video is about. Since the obsessive thoughts drive the compulsive behaviors, we're going to start with the thoughts. Everyone has troubling thoughts or worries from time to time, but OCD causes the brain to get stuck, playing it over and over in your head. The following strategies can help you get unstuck. Number one is really to write down the obsessive thoughts and beliefs. It's important to see these on paper. It helps us to separate the reactive mind from the wise mind. So there's this little walnut-sized part of your midbrain called the amygdala, and that's our reactive mind. It's our survival mind, sort of our monkey mind, what we share with all the other animals. And it reacts to threats with a fight, flight, or freeze reaction, and it shoots adrenaline through our whole system. But it can react to our obsessive thoughts and think we're in danger when we're not. So we need to recognize that these triggers are the firing of your amygdala, and you can feel like you're in danger, but your wise mind, which is our higher cortex, can distinguish between real and imagined fear. So when we write it down, the thought and the belief behind it, and write down the truth from our wise mind and the rational facts, that can help us dispute that fear, thought, belief, obsession. Then we create a truth statement that you can use to deal with it when the thought comes up. So for example, we redefine it. For example, I'm having an obsession that my hands are dirty, but when I think about it rationally, I know with my wise mind that they're not. Or the thought or fear is that everything must be lined up in perfect symmetry. And you can write that down and realize that it's not imperative. And you can redefine it as, I like symmetry, but I also can put things out of order and I'll be okay. Here's another example. I like to count, but it's not imperative, and it doesn't keep me safe from any random event. Or if your obsessive thought is on your safety around checking that doors are locked and windows are closed and appliances off, and the compulsive behavior involves checking many, many times and going over and over things like that, or turning the lock back and forth several times. You would write down those things, and then you would write down the truth that checking once is sufficient. So then create a solid mental picture and then make a mental note telling yourself, the window is now closed, I can see that the oven is off, so that when the urge to check arises later, you'll find it easier to redefine it as just an obsessive thought. This is how you redefine that the OCD thoughts and urges are not meaningful, but are false messages from the brain, and then how to self-calm. The second thing is to divert. So since the obsessive thought creates the urge to do the compulsive behavior, which is either nonsensical or it can even be self-destructive or self-harmful, it's critical to have a list of positive self-care strategies that you can use when you're having an OCD episode. Your list is personal to you, but things like taking a walk, putting on fun music and singing or dancing along, making healthy food, calling a friend, stretching, exercising, doing Pilates or yoga or something. This will divert the energy into healthy and positive coping strategies instead of the old unhealthy and irrational compulsions. Again, write these things down so that when you get into an OCD episode, they're available to you. Number 3, devalue. Remind yourself continually that the obsessive thought and the compulsive drive are just thoughts and they're not truths. And the compulsions are not helpful and they're not critical to your safety. They're just compulsions. You don't need to give them any more value or attention than that. The more we pay attention to them, the more power we are giving them. And the less we give, the more we take back our power. This is really critical. Remember, that's the little amygdala firing off, but you have a wise mind, so you can use it. So redefine, divert your attention onto healthier strategies, and devalue the OCD thoughts and behaviors. A healthy lifestyle really helps decrease OCD symptoms, including exercise, sleep, mindfulness, relaxation, decreasing substances, including alcohol, nicotine, and drugs. If you know someone with OCD, it's really important that you respond to their symptoms in a calm and supportive way without giving any power to their obsessions or compulsions. Be as kind and patient as you can be. Help them overcome their problems at their own pace, and praise any successful attempts of them to learn and practice the new coping strategies. Focus on the positive elements in that person's life. Don't play along with the loved one's rituals, though. Support, but don't enable. Don't let OCD take over your family life. And treatment for OCD is generally cognitive behavioral therapy, and also it can be medication oriented. Antidepressants are sometimes used in conjunction with therapy for the treatment of OCD. Medication alone is rarely effective, so these cognitive approaches that I've outlined above and working with a personal therapist are your best key. If you have underlying traumatic issues, you also have to think about resolving those before you can really get to the bottom of this stuff. If you've appreciated this video, please hit like and subscribe. Please share it on your social media. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you again soon.